You serious?
Making this video took a while because I was spending half the time struggling to take this seriously, while the other half was spent nearly falling off my chair laughing every 5 minutes because of how ridiculous this entire thing is. Links to all my sources can be found in the description below. Alex Hutchinson, the quote-unquote creative director at Google Stadia, who had to correct his Twitter bio to creative director at Stadia Games and Entertainment in Montreal after people started paying attention to his existence. He recently gained notoriety on Twitter by tweeting the following: "Streamers worried about getting their content pulled because they used music they didn't pay for should be more worried about the fact that they're streaming games they didn't pay for as well. It's all gone as soon as publishers decide to enforce it. The real truth is that streamers should be paying the developers and publishers of the games they stream. They should be buying a license like any real business and paying for the content they use." This is such a stupid take. They already paid for it when they bought the games. Many developers and publishers give free game keys to streamers in order to promote the game because they understand the value of the free advertising they are getting here. Among Us was completely unknown till a bunch of streamers picked it up, causing it to explode in popularity. Seriously, just what kind of rock has he been hiding under these past few years? Almost the entirety of the gaming industry has come to an agreement on this, yet here he is pushing something that's already been settled many years ago. Ryan White, YouTube's lead in gaming, commerce, and immersive, whatever that means, responded to this with the following tweet: "We believe that publishers and creators have a wonderful symbiotic relationship that has allowed a thriving ecosystem to be created, one that has mutually benefited everyone. YouTube is focused on creating value for creators, publishers, and users. All ships rise when we work together." Yep, we have a symbiotic relationship with game companies and publishers. And yes, that sadly includes Activision, EA, Ubisoft, etc. His terrible argument would at least be worth considering if he also didn't tweet this a day prior.
Hey everyone!
Hey everybody!
It's Lauren Seaside
My name is Lamar Wilson and I'm partnering up with Stadia
to help prepare all of you.
for some exciting game announcements and a few surprises that you don't want to miss.
Stadia has some really good stuff coming up over the next 3 days.
And you may be wondering, well,
Now, let's dive into many of the responses he got. Terrible take. The amount of exposure streamers and YouTubers give to games just by playing them is worth major money by itself. Some games only market through influencers now because it's so strong and works. EA managed to ensure Apex Legends exploded in popularity at launch by paying streamers to play the game. You're also a creative director at Stadia. Stadia literally paid me and many others to promote their product. So please apply water to burn. Next, streamer Jacksepticeye tweeted this: "I find this thinking extremely ironic considering you have fan art of me, a streamer, as your banner from when I played Savage Planets. You've even cropped out their watermark in the banner and haven't given them credit anywhere for it. Very hypocritical." Next tweet: "Publishers will never do this. Why would they? It's free promotion for their games and inherently symbiotic. Further, most end-user license agreements already grant this permission to broadcasters. Your tweet is unnecessary scare tactics during a time we ought to instead discuss productive solutions." He's referring to the recent DMCA takedowns on Twitch. Using materials from EA games. EA appreciates the passion that players have for our games, and we're always excited to see the creativity that comes from our community. EA does not object to fair use of video footage or screenshots on video sharing sites, including YouTube channels that are commercialized, as long as the footage is a version of the game that we have released to the public. I mean, it's just astounding that EA has a better position here. Then there's this little nugget. Amazing to me that people are upset at someone saying that the creators of content should be allowed to make some of the money from other people using their content for profit. If we went with his idea, the ones who will be making most of the money from the streaming licenses will be the publishers and executives, while the developers who actually made the content will rarely if ever see any of that money. I mean, do I honestly need to list through the gaming industry's mistreatment of its employees? A spokesperson for Google came out with a statement. The recent tweets by Alex Hutchinson, creative director at Montreal studio of Stadia Games and Entertainment, do not reflect those of Stadia, YouTube, or Google. Stadia planned to leverage content creators to promote games on YouTube, where viewers and fans can jump into Stadia games they are currently watching on YouTube by adding a Play Now button for videos. So it's no wonder they want to distance themselves from this. And do you know why this entire thing will never work? Several years ago, Nintendo tried something exactly like this with its creator program, where content creators could only use footage of Nintendo games if they signed up for it, followed Nintendo's content policy, and gave Nintendo 30% of the ad revenue. They eventually shut down the program because they couldn't keep up with the number of applications they got. They tried to have absolute control over content uploaded, yet failed in their counterproductive war against free advertisement. Even the greediest game companies know full well that the amount of money they could possibly get from streaming licenses would be pennies in comparison to the value of free advertisement they could get on YouTube and Twitch, which they also don't have to pay for unless it's through sponsorships. Because the one thing these companies love almost as much as making more money is spending less money. They have very little to gain and plenty to lose if they start a counterproductive war against what is essentially free advertisement. I only discovered the Trails games after watching a video by Mother's Basement, and I found Frostpunk by watching Raptor, and I'm certain many gamers had similar experiences. This entire issue has been settled already, and almost the entirety of the gaming industry agrees that free advertisement is a good thing. If the gaming industry honestly tried this idea, then YouTube gaming literally would have a hard time being as big as it currently is. And I'm sure his bosses at Google would love to have a word with him. That's my 2 cents on this ridiculous matter, and thank you for watching.